The Asana Ledge overlooking the old quarry is one of the most creepy and active spots, with reports of phantom fires, spook lights, and even full-bodied apparitions of the Lady of the Ledge.
Hello everyone, my name is Lisa and here's what I have today. Today I made a macaroni and cheese bowl featuring some chicken and along with it some Hot Ones, the classic original hot sauce. I've never tried this before, so let's see how this goes. And then for a dessert I have some Skittles Fuego gummies. And for my milk / recovery of the day, I have some strawberry Nesquik. Okay, here we go. Go get a spicy snack and let's get into these spooky videos. And today's topic is the Bridgewater Triangle. Okay, first video.
Ever heard of the Bridgewater Triangle? This patch of land in southeastern Massachusetts might be the most cursed place in America. It covers over 200 square miles of swamps, forests, and abandoned settlements. And for decades, people have reported things that defy explanation. Shadow figures moving between trees, giant birds with wingspans over 12 feet, and glowing orbs that hover in place, then vanish without a sound. Scientists have studied the electromagnetic fields here. Some areas spike off the charts, like the laws of physics are bending, and local tribes always called this land sacred, warning outsiders to stay away. But it gets weirder. Entire flocks of birds have been seen flying in circles and dropping from the sky, and animals have been found mutilated with surgical precision, no blood, no tracks, no explanation. In the heart of the swamp, Hockomock, meaning place where spirits dwell, locals say you can hear chanting with no source. Some believe it's the echo of a ritual, one that never ended. And here's the twist. In 2023, researchers uncovered evidence of ancient stone structures deep in the forest, older than anything previously recorded in the region. Built for what? No one knows. People call it a triangle because things disappear inside it. Just make sure it's not you.
Okay, next video.
If you're looking for poltergeists, shadow people, cryptids, creepy little creatures, curses, cult activity, this is the place. Not to mention the UFO sightings and mysterious disappearances. So think Bermuda Triangle, but in the United States and way more paranormal. The Bridgewater Triangle is the largest and most active paranormal hotspot I've literally ever heard of. This place is in Massachusetts, actually. This area has been a long-time hotspot for UFO sightings, as well as strange lights in the sky. Some people have even claimed to have encounters with extraterrestrial beings in this triangle. Not only do they have your SWs and weird creatures like that, Bigfoot sightings, but the creepiest one to me is the thing called the Pukwudgie. And this is a mischievous dwarf-like creature from Native American folklore. He's known to play tricks on people. It creeps me out. Little creepy creatures freak me out. Then you have your poltergeists, your shadow people, your ghosts of serial killers and patients at the insane asylum that's now abandoned. You have places of satanic rituals that have drawn demonic energy there. People have experienced their items being thrown. Now, mind you, this is also, not only are there abandoned buildings, functioning buildings, haunted cemeteries, it's also a forest. So in the forest, there are mysterious disappearances and strange incidents that people experience. The most notable part of the haunted forest area would be the Hockomock Swamp, which is known to be cursed because of the mistreatment of the Wampanoag people centuries ago. So, if you want a paranormal hotspot that literally has everything that you've ever been creeped out by, this is the place.
Deep in southeastern Massachusetts lies a stretch of land that many believe to be one of the most paranormally active places in the whole United States of America. It's known as the Bridgewater Triangle, a 200 square mile region that touches about 12 different cities and towns in the area. For centuries, people have reported things here that defy explanation. Strange lights in the sky, creatures in the woods, ghosts on lonely roads, and a feeling, more so a constant sense that something is watching. This is the Bridgewater Triangle. At the center of the triangle is Hockomock Swamp, nearly 17,000 acres of thick forest and wetlands. Indigenous tribes once called this place the place where spirits dwell, and many believe that it truly does live up to that name. Visitors report glowing orbs silently moving through the trees, mist that moves against the wind, and sudden temperature drops as well. Some say that compasses spin wildly out of control, while others claim that their electronics simply shut off. But what truly terrifies people here isn't just the lights. Over the years, countless witnesses have described a giant Bigfoot-like creature that lurks in this area near the swamp. They describe him as massive, hairy, and he disappears into the trees the moment that they're spotted. In a lot of cases, even the police were called in to investigate. Others tell stories of giant serpents, of aggressive panthers with glowing eyes, and even of giant dogs that seem to appear out of nowhere and then vanish as quickly as they appeared. And then there's the thunderbird. It looks like a pterodactyl, but many describe it as a giant bird-like creature with a wingspan of over 10 feet, and it's often seen soaring above the tree line before vanishing into the sky. Some of the triangle's oldest legends speak of something smaller and much more dangerous. Pukwudgies, mysterious humanoid creatures from Wampanoag folklore, are said to inhabit these woods. They're known for luring people off of trails, causing confusion, and even pushing people into rivers or off of cliffs. And the activity doesn't just stop on the ground. The skies above the Bridgewater Triangle have been a hotspot for UFO sightings for the past few hundred years. As early as the 1700s, people have reported glowing orbs floating in the skies in this area. In the 1900s, sightings increased, including reports from police officers and multiple witnesses describing low-flying craft with red and white lights. One of the most talked about UFO cases in this area came in the 1970s, when a few people saw two UFOs hovering just above the ground on Route 44 in Taunton. But perhaps the most chilling part of the triangle is its history. Ghostly apparitions have been seen walking desolate roads in this area, including a mysterious red-haired hitchhiker who vanishes as soon as cars slow down. And Freetown State Forest has long been associated with ritualistic activity, unexplained animal mutilations, and dark symbols carved into trees. Some believe the land itself is cursed, scarred by violence during King Philip's War, forever imprinting the area with tragedy and unrest. So whether you believe it's haunted, cursed, or something even stranger, the Bridgewater Triangle continues to defy explanation. If you ever find yourself wandering the forests of the Bridgewater Triangle, just remember, you might not be alone, because it is the Bridgewater Triangle, and the unknown is always watching.
Write me a comment. Have you ever been to the Bridgewater Triangle?
Alright, so the most haunted forest in America is actually in Massachusetts. This forest is filled with murders, fear, and mad paranormal activity. The Freetown State Forest, also known as the Bridgewater Triangle, is known for its very dark past. Everybody as a kid knew about the Bermuda Triangle, so with the nickname the Bridgewater Triangle, you can kind of assume what happens in this forest. The reputation of this forest, it's mostly rumors and speculations, but there has been multiple crimes and tragedies that's been recorded in this forest. In November of 1978, a 15-year-old girl was abducted from the town of Raynham, and 2 months later she was found in these woods tied up to a tree. The man that did this was actually found and was convicted of murdering and kidnapping of this girl. But that did not stop any crime from happening here. In 1980, police were actually investigating another murder that has happened around the forest, and then they were approached by a bunch of locals. The locals told police that they witnessed a bunch of satanic cult activities in these woods. So this happened in the same time period as the Fall River cult killings. You can look that up if you want to, but I'm not going to go deep into it. Later, the police found a bunch of animal blood, and they just assumed it was for the cult rituals that the locals told them about. In 1987, a homeless man was actually murdered because the people that found him thought he was an undercover cop, so they killed him. And even recently, in May 2016, wires were found across the walked paths in these woods. The wires were there for a reason, and it wasn't for a good purpose. So these wires were to catch off-road motorbike people, and they would decapitate them. Yeah. There's also been multiple sightings of giant snakes, UFOs, orb lights, any random animals, emus. They don't belong here, but yeah. And as I always say, have fun.
The Bridgewater Triangle, located in eastern Massachusetts, is the ultimate Pandora's box of activity for paranormal occurrences. It is said to be an area with a rip in the veil between realities. There are frequent reports of ghost sightings ranging from full-bodied apparitions poltergeists, disembodied voices, and orbs throughout the triangle. Native spirits, a woman in white, and a red-headed hitchhiker are among the ghostly sightings. Bigfoot, thunderbirds, giant serpents, and pukwudgies are among the cryptids reported to call these woods home. As if that isn't enough, alien species are also drawn to this hotbed of activity, with numerous reports of UFOs in the skies above the woods dating all the way back to the 1690s, in addition to full-on alien abductions. The darkest stories, though, of Bridgewater Triangle are those of human activities. This area was known for satanic cult activity, including horrific animal sacrifices from the 70s through the 90s. Here we are at the infamous ledge at the old quarry here at the Bridgewater Triangle. Check it out. The Asana Ledge overlooking the old quarry is one of the most creepy and active spots, with reports of phantom fires, spook lights, and even full-bodied apparitions of the Lady of the Ledge. Here at the ledge, it is said, people often feel a strong urge to jump off the cliff into the murky waters below. Fortunately, I did not experience this pull and enjoyed the beautiful view from above. Whether you believe there is something to the plethora of supernatural reports, are intrigued by the history, or mesmerized by the natural beauty of the area, the Freetown Forest is definitely worth a visit. Drop a comment with an area of unexplained paranormal occurrences near you. And if you enjoy a bit of a scare, check out my new book, Brothers Misfortune and the Curse of the Stolen Treasure, on Amazon.
This is where they captured Native American chief Anawan. So this is Anawan Rock. Deep in the woods of Rehoboth, Massachusetts, lies a rock where history and legend collide. This is Anawan Rock, a meeting place and camp of the Wampanoag chief Anawan. Centuries ago, warriors gathered here, plans were made and battles were fought, and today it sits in the Bridgewater Triangle, an area famous for strange lights, ghostly figures, and eerie whispers. Some say the forest still holds the weight of betrayal and war. Surrounded by Captain Church and colonial soldiers, Anawan and his warriors surrendered. The war was almost over. The decision that followed would echo through Plymouth forever. Join us for part 2 as we travel to Plymouth, Massachusetts to show you where Anawan was taken and his soldiers after arrested, and what his fate was that day.
In 1854, Massachusetts opened the State Lunatic Hospital at Taunton, now called Taunton State Hospital. It was opened with good intentions, built to be a calm, healing place for those who couldn't function in society. But like so many 19th century asylums, it quickly fell into the same saddening trap. Became overcrowded and underfunded, with undertrained staff who improperly treated their patients. Stories began to unravel, telling of how some patients were subjected to dangerous, experimental procedures behind closed doors. And in the 1970s, rumors arose of a hidden basement room used for occult rituals. Not hard to believe when you hear of the sinister activity in this area. Paranormal reports started to circulate. Visitors felt as if they were being constantly watched. They would see shadowy figures crawling across the walls and ceilings, along with apparitions in hospital gowns. Lights flickered and objects moved on their own. And perhaps most chilling, they would hear the echoes of screaming coming from the old solitary confinement wing. Many believe that the trauma and darkness here left a permanent mark. And while Taunton State Hospital is still in operation today, its most haunted wings are all closed or partially demolished and completely off limits.
What's up, guys? I'm here to share a story with you. Now, for those of you who had saw my video on the pterodactyl egg falling on my friend's car and thought, oh, well, Harry, you're full of BS, well, check this out. Back in 1996, I was 14 years old, and I was riding my bike with a childhood friend of mine named Troy, and we used to ride our bikes behind Brockton High down the old quad trails behind there. And one day, we were riding our bikes, he gets off his bike, he runs into the woods, and the wind is picking up like crazy. I look up in the sky, all the shrubs are blowing like crazy, and about 3 stories up, there was this massive, huge cryptid bird with a wingspan probably about the size of an old 1978 Lincoln Town car, for those of you who remember that car. And he was flying by me, and I can remember the texture of this bird. It was like suede, old worn-out suede. He had a lot of debris in him, cobwebs, twigs, and he was flying by me, and I made contact with this bird, and I just thought to myself, oh God, he's going to think I'm a worm. He's going to scoop me up and carry me on his way. But he flew going south towards the Hockomock Swamp. What is the Hockomock Swamp? Well, the term Hockomock means place where spirits dwell. It was a native burial ground. And then years later, I discovered the Bridgewater Triangle. What is the Bridgewater Triangle? It's a triangular-shaped region with all kinds of paranormal activity in it. Cryptids, Bigfoots, ghosts, pterodactyls, thunderbirds, balls of fire in the sky. So make sure to check out our YouTube page, the Bridgewater Triangle Paranormal Investigators, to watch all our investigation videos, and make sure to check out our new documentary called Inside the Bridgewater Triangle.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're asking about the Thunderbird, but that's not really that interesting. I saw it outside of a window of my boyfriend's house, and we both saw it. It was a pterodactyl-looking type thing. It was a giant bird that all of a sudden just flew away, and that's the last time we ever saw one. That was like 5 years ago. Another story I have, I was driving home on Thanksgiving 2 years ago with my boyfriend. We were driving home from his sister's house in Western Mass. We get off the exit on the highway, we're driving home, we're getting closer into the triangle. And all of a sudden there's just this bright ass light in the sky. It wasn't an airplane light, it was just sitting there in the sky, just so still, it wasn't moving at all. And it was a giant light, like a big light. And me and my boyfriend were just looking at each other like, do you see that? Do you see that? Do you see that? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, after being in the sky for like 5 minutes, it shoots up into the sky, never to be seen again. I've also just had weird, like, paranormal type activity when I'm outside at night. It's just so weird. I hear weird noises at night and it freaks me out.
The story that I'm going to share with you today comes from the Bridgewater Triangle in Massachusetts. As this follower was driving down Freetown Fall River State Forest with their friend, they decided to take some back roads to a place to explore. They took a corner and the road literally disappeared right in front of them. They get out the GPS to check it and see what's going on, and it shows that they are about 6 meters back from the trail that they were originally on. This next story that they sent me occurred in their backyard. So they live on a rather large property, and at the back of this property sits a cemetery that belonged to the past landowners. So once when they were a teenager, they decided to go through their backyard just to get some fresh air, and they knew the area, of course, because they lived there, so they got there pretty easily, paid their respects to the graves, and were just looking around. As they're around one of the older stones just looking, they are then in a cow trough. The trough was around 1 to 2 acres away from this spot, and it was 3 feet deep, but suddenly they were just there in it. They walk back, get in their car, and start driving around and end up on a dirt path. As they're driving, they get the most gut-wrenching feeling of despair and sadness. Like, they cannot control how they're feeling. They don't know why they're feeling it, but it has washed over them. So they're like, okay, let me just keep driving. The pavement's a few miles away. I can get there. Let me just focus. As they're focusing, a deer runs out in front of them. They feel like whatever was out there sent that deer through to make them possibly hit it and have to get out of their car. And I agree, that definitely could have been the case.
Kristen Evans was explaining she was driving through Abington one night, and a large dinosaur egg had fallen on her windshield, and her mother, or a family member, I'm not really sure, I don't really remember, was explaining how they saw a pterodactyl crashing through the trees. Well, we're in Abington right now.
What?
And something landed on my friend Joe's car out of nowhere. And it's an egg. And this wasn't no normal egg shell, because there was egg everywhere all over his windshield. And it left this on the ground. So, that's pretty weird. And like I said, we're in Abington right now. We're on Ashland Street. King Street's on the corner down there. We thought it was a bunch of vandals that were throwing shit at traffic. We got out, we looked everywhere, didn't see anything.
Firelight, crazy laughter, another We got the moon in the ride.
While traveling on Route 44 in Rehoboth, just after the Seekonk town line, you just might pass by the phantom red-headed hitchhiker. They say he's a tall lumberjack man wearing work boots, brown work pants, a red flannel shirt. He has a red beard and red hair. It's alleged that he was a nearby farmer who passed away from being struck by a car while changing a tire for a stranded motorist. Motorists claim while driving at night on Route 44, they spot this mysterious man hitchhiking. Drivers will pull over to offer him a ride. The red-headed man will get into the passenger seat without saying a word. The ghostly hitchhiker will sit there in silence with eyes that are described to be lifeless. The Good Samaritan will continue driving, and suddenly the hitchhiker vanishes from the car. Then following the disappearance, there will be a brief radio interference with the sound of laughter. So guys, I entered this investigation as a huge skeptic, and at the time I was driving a 2006 Mercury Grand Marquis, and none of us were wearing our seatbelts, and the seatbelt alarm was chiming. Then when Seneca handed me the spirit box from the back seat, all of a sudden a voice came through that said, "You're out of your seatbelt."
Oh, hey, the thing is, so I set up pretty much.
And we also picked up the sound of laughter.
Whoa, what the fuck was that? That was a laugh.
Okay, is your hometown haunted? Write me a comment. Tell me your haunted hometown stories.
This weird red fireball is flying across the sky, and it just stopped. Now it's moving again. Sorry. I can't zoom in on it. It just stopped again.
I'm terrified to go down there, though.
You know what it sounded like? You know those videos where people are like hiking and they hear something that's trying to get them to go into the woods deeper?
Well, I just heard something like, run. Yeah, that's a skinwalker, isn't it? The thing that tries to make you go deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
In the woods. I'm not falling for your tricks! Get the hell out of here!
Bro, imagine being this person having to walk back to...
Chelsea, literally, that is the worst decision you could have done right now.
No, I think this is a great decision. I feel better. I feel much better. And I still have 6.
Grab this. It sounded like an owl, but that was huge. Remember from last time, Chelsea? There was an owl, man.
I heard like a whistle. Very faint whistle from behind us.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, no way.
Okay,
It's lighting
the
up.
static's coming from this way. Could it be the phones?
No. The phones would not set that off. It's going off. Are you right there touching that pink device?
Yeah.
Just.
If we weren't hearing that back there.
It's whistling in between those. You hear that?
Yes.
What the? Chelsea, our tripod.
And number 4. It happens here, Bridgewater, where there's something supernatural lurking inside the Bridgewater Triangle, a 200 square mile so-called paranormal vortex with 3 points in Abington, Rehoboth, and Freetown. Cryptozoologist Lauren Coleman came up with the nickname back in 1983.
The Bridgewater Triangle, I think per square foot, we've got more weirdness here than the Bermuda Triangle could hold a candle to.
That's author and podcaster Jeff Belanger. He met us inside the triangle at the historic and haunted Hockomock Swamp. Its waters became a battlefield during King Philip's War. For decades, people have reported paranormal experiences inside the triangle, and TikTok is full of creepy videos.
There have been asylums in here, prisons in here. There have been cult murders. There have been all kinds of human activity. UFO sightings, Bigfoot sightings, strange serpents, puckwudgies, will-o'-the-wisps, glowing balls of light, hauntings.
Even I got spooked when I came across some perfectly picked clean bones. So we left the haunted woods and headed to Central Square to see what Bridgewater locals think.
I've heard a lot of people say that they've like taken pictures and like orbs have come out in the pictures,
But we got the nip, so Bigfoot might not be out of the question.
And they found his body stretched out on the bank. And it was like from here to you long, but he was dead.
A lady down the street here, she told us that Bigfoot is dead and they found its body last year. Have you heard that?
I had not heard that. I know. That's too bad. He's dead. He died.
No, but if I saw a pudge monkey, I'd try and like pet it or make friends with it.
Rue, what do you think about the Bridgewater Triangle? Bigfoot. UFOs? Carlos, are you ever gonna come here again? Nope.
Bigfoot is dead. Okay, one more video for today.
This is my natural habitat.
The Bridgewater Triangle.
Whoa, man, that's in my backyard.
An alleged paranormal hotspot south of Boston where things go bump in the night.
And it's not just ghosts, it's not just cryptozoology or aliens, it's all of it.
And what are we doing today, Matt?
We're going to find Bigfoot.
I brought the Bold and the Beautiful's Emmy-nominated actress Annika Noel to help me recreate some of the Sasquatch stories.
I am a fan of this show, and so I reached out to Matt and I was like, hey, I'm going to be in town. And never did I think that we would be Sasquatch hunting.
Hey, Dave. Nice to see you again, Matt. How you doing?
Dave McCullough is the founder of Squatchachusetts.
My personal belief is it's a human hybrid. It does seem to have half human traits.
He led us to a secret location where we met Rich Brawl.
Can I walk out back?
Yeah.
I mean... No, that's just, I communicate with that.
Okay. You got a look on your face. Do you hear something?
Laughing.
He wasn't a Bigfoot guy until...
Well, 6 or 7 years ago, I started hearing something walking around out here. I remember everything got quiet, and I was actually scratching a ticket. So I was over here doing like a cash word one, you know, like this, and I hear... And I held my phone out like this, and I said, come on, where you at? And all of a sudden I hear, oh, where you at? Who's that?
Rich and Dave's phones are loaded with alleged evidence like that. And big feet pics.
That's a big toe. Do you see the little fuzzies? You see that tree?
Oh, yeah.
All the bark beating off it?
But most of the supposed signs involved tree trunks that were bent a certain way or arranged a little too neatly for Mother Nature.
Some of them I look at and I'm like, that's just artwork, man.
Did you see here, this tree that's fallen somehow?
You didn't tell me you were a pro Bigfoot hunter, Annika.
Well, in the woods of Sudbury, you learn a thing or two.
Where'd you hear it?
Knocked way out there.
That way?
Yeah, way out.
I swear they know me. Remember that sound we heard? They were like, it's almost like Chewbacca. And it was like...
So we didn't see anything that truly made us go. But if we did, as Dave puts it...
If you don't bother them, they won't bother you.
Ow, ow.
Are you okay?
I think I might have just got stung.
Right there, talk. Yep, that's a bee.
From the Bridgewater Triangle, I'm Matt Shearer.
For more, ask Alexa to play WBZ News Radio on iHeartRadio.
Okay, write me a comment. Again, let me know, what do you think of all this? I think there's definitely something going on. There's too many stories in the same area for there to be, like, nothing to it. Definitely something going on. That red-headed hitchhiker is really scary. If that ever happened to me, I'd be, like, really scared. Have you ever been to the Bridgewater Triangle? Do you have any stories? Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. See you next time. Bye!